I would have to say my favorite thing living in Ghana is just the peace and tranquility. You're in a country where all of us are black. You don't face the racism that you face in the States. You don't have to look over your shoulder when the police pulls you over, and there's just so much peace. My name is Jonathan Akwamwa, and I am the CEO and founder of Team CSR Ghana. We are an NGO or a nonprofit here in Ghana in good standings in the country, and we've been doing work here for about 12 years now. I was born here in Ghana, West Africa. And I moved to the U.S. at the age of 5. My parents took me there at the age of 5 years old to the U.S. in 1969. Well, my childhood was very difficult as a Ghanaian boy growing up in a USA system. I went to a public school in Cleveland, Ohio, and it was very difficult because at that time in 1969, 1970, early 70s, there wasn't a lot of Africans traveling, so I was like the only African kid in my school. Of course, you can imagine a lot of bullying, a lot of name calling, got in a lot of fights and so forth. But, it was difficult. There's a lot of issues inside the African American community with Africans during that time. And luckily, a lot of those things have changed. You have African players, African football players, basketball players, so many Africans in the USA now. But for me, growing up, it was difficult, being the only African in my school and mostly in my community. Again, I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, went through elementary school there from kindergarten all the way to middle school and then all the way through high school at Shaw High School in East Cleveland, Ohio. And I enjoyed that time. I played football. I enjoyed all of the other activities that's involved in, growing up in the high school system, made a lot of great friends. And, unfortunately, at a public school, the kids that go to university is not really that much. There's a lot of kids that fall on the wayside. Many of my friends that I played football with never really had an opportunity, not really opportunity, but never really matured to the point of going to university. A lot of people fell by the wayside with drugs and family problems and so forth and so on. And I think that really kind of gauged my mentality and my way of thinking as I, graduated from Kent. But I went to Kent State, enjoyed the university life, made some great lifetime friends. I joined one of the greatest fraternities in the world, the Omega Psi Phi fraternity there, and had a great experience to travel all over the States. And it was just a blessing to be able to do all those things there. My decision to move to Ghana is really a funny story. It's a long story, but in the year 1999 to 2000, there was a lot of issues about Y2K. And again, you have to be older to be able to understand that whole Y2K movement. People thought it would be the end of the world or whatever. And so I had an opportunity to come to Ghana during that time, and it was my first time coming to Ghana after being here 5 years old. I didn't know what to expect, and I was just blown away of how lovely the people were. My uncle picked me up. He had a nice house, nice car. I thought I was probably coming to a village, and and all of that is really based on some of the brainwashing that people have from being in the States, and which I was susceptible to as well. So I didn't know what to expect. But to have my uncle and my family pick me up in their nice, Mercedes, go to a nice house, and my cousins were driving nice new cars, and they're taking me to these parties, I was just totally blown away. We were on the beach with jet skis, and I hadn't even rode a jet ski in the States. Living in Ohio and Cleveland, you don't really get to be on the beach that much. And so came to Ghana, it was like a vacation. It totally blew me away how beautiful the country was, how beautiful the people were, the opportunities here. And so I didn't even want to go back. And so when I went back, my whole time in the States was like, how do I get back to Ghana? How can I, make a living in Ghana? What can I do, in Ghana? And so it was, for me, it was a powerful experience, and when you're in the States, and you don't really know any better. You don't know that there is opportunities in other places outside of the States worldwide. You're kind of stuck there. You don't really know where the opportunities are or what you can do besides being in the States. And so coming to Ghana was an opportunity for me to see that, yes, I do have a country, I do have a land, I do have a place where I can also be successful. And it's a beautiful place with beautiful people, and everybody is just like me, and there's no racism, there's no hatred. People love each other. There's a family unity. It was just totally mind-blowing experience for me. When we're talking about the challenges I faced, one of the things I do have to say is that I was blessed in that my parents always spoke the local language with me. They spoke Tree with me. And so I could speak the language fluently. But I can imagine that being a really big issue if I couldn't speak the language fluently. People sometimes take advantage of you not being able to speak the language. You could go to the marketplace and something that might cost $1, because you have an American accent, they're charging you $10 for it. So, it was really difficult. What I would say is a challenge in coming to Ghana is that relocating to Ghana is the quality of life. The quality of life. If you want to live an American life in Ghana, it is very difficult, and it can be very, very expensive. But if you're a humble person and you can live the basic life, I found it very easy. For example, I'm giving you one example. I've been in Ghana for over 10 years now, and I still find it very difficult to bathe with cold water. you know, and that's almost everywhere you go. You have to, you bathe with cold water unless you're in a hotel or you're in a nice mansion with a water heater. But everywhere people bathe with cold water, and it's something that, you just have to get used to. And so there's a lot of the differences, and what we take for granted in the States is what I really found difficult first coming to Ghana. And then there's, the structure of things is very, very different. There's many things that you can do, but there's not a really set, I don't know how to say this, but there's not really a set process in doing things in Ghana. Everything it varies depending on who you know, depends on how much money you have. If you want to get something done, if you have the money to get it done, you can have it done in a day. If you want to get something done, it could be anything from registering land and whatever. It could take you months and years to actually have that done, but if you have the money to be able to, get these things done faster, it can be done in a week or so. And so not having really guidelines and really set ways of doing things, I found it very difficult, at first. And another challenge I faced is customer service. Ghana is very, very poor in customer service, what we expect in the States, timely, being on time, whether it's workers, whether it's at a restaurant, and so I found that customer service was also one of the challenges that I faced moving to Ghana. I would have to say my favorite thing living in Ghana is just the peace and tranquility. You're in a country where all of us are Black. You don't face the racism that you face in the States. You don't have to look over your shoulder when the police pull you over. And, there's just so much peace for me living in a country where everybody looks like me. And so for me, those are some things that I love about being in Ghana. One of the other things that I love to eat. And so I love the fufu, the banku, all the different food items that they have here in Ghana. And it's all natural. You can buy it at the market naturally. And so I just love the food here in Ghana a lot as well. A little bit about my NGO, Team CSR Ghana. I have worked in the nonprofit sector or NGO sector for about 30 years. I worked with United Way in the U.S., very large nonprofit, and I enjoyed that work. I enjoyed working with the people in the streets, helping people, just get off streets from homelessness and orphans, and just so many great work that I was able to do in the U.S. And when I came to Ghana, I wanted to be able to do the same thing for my people. Ghana is very, very difficult. Unfortunately, this is a country that doesn't have tax write-offs for donations and giving, and so having a nonprofit in Ghana is very difficult. It's very difficult raising money for it, but I persevered through that because I know that if I could bring help to my people, it would be much more worthwhile, much more rewarding, because Ghana is still a developing country, and so there's millions of people that don't have access to basic things we take for granted in the States, such as water. And so, kids learn and study under trees without a school building. It's just so much need here in Ghana. And I know that if I could just do a little bit from the experiences I have of raising funds and doing nonprofit work, if I could just make a little impact in some way, I felt that life would be much more rewarding for me. So that's what my NGO does. It's called Team CSR Ghana. Team CSR stands for providing training, evaluation, and measurement of corporate social responsibility. So we talk with companies, we help them manage their corporate social responsibility initiatives by identifying projects in communities that make lasting impacts. They give us the funds, we facilitate that project, whether it's building a school, building a borehole in the community, or whatever. And so once we do that, we engage the community, we facilitate the project, then the company comes in and they do the formal ribbon cutting ceremony and with the media and all of that for their corporate social responsibility initiatives. And so that is the basic of what we do at Team CSR. A lot of my friends in the States and organizations and companies in the USA just, they saw the work that we were doing. They were really, amazed at how we're impacting communities. And a lot of them have joined our efforts to, just to make a lasting impact in communities in Ghana and helping better the lives of Ghanaians just a little bit at a time. Some of the projects that we've done are so many. We've built schools. We built school in Somenya. We built a school in Kuntanase. Some of our corporate partners like Chase Petroleum, they came to us, especially a few years ago when a village built a kindergarten classroom just out of mud and clay and things like that. And the building actually collapsed and killed about 6 children. It was a big tragedy. It was a national tragedy. The president of Ghana went to the community and gave his condolences. And so Chase Petroleum came to me and said, let's, build a school, a KG block for that community. And so they provided the funds. We went inside, did the work, built the school, and we commissioned it to the community. And everybody was just so happy and so amazed at the work that we've done. And so we've done these type of projects all throughout Ghana. Some of our partners, such as Omega Psi Phi Fraternity, has given over $350,000 in providing water for Ghana. When Omega Psi Phi is a international fraternity in the USA, and I've been a member for 35 years since I was in 87 in the States. And so I'm still active, and I was able to also help bring a chapter here in Ghana because Omega Psi Phi is worldwide. There wasn't a chapter in Ghana, and through a friend of mine named Dr. Brian Smith, Dr. Brian Cox, we were able to actually bring a chapter here in Ghana. And so the fraternity was just very impressed with the work that we're doing boreholes in communities, and they came down with their international leadership and paid for us to do 2 boreholes. And when we did the borehole, they came in commission, they were just amazed. And our president at the time of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity, Dr. Marion, went back and he basically challenged the whole fraternity worldwide, over 100,000 men worldwide, to bring in funds and to build boreholes in communities throughout Ghana. And so we had a goal of doing 24 boreholes And so during that process, the COVID hit. We had only done 12, and COVID hit really hard. And we thought we wouldn't reach the 24 goal that we had. But people were just so amazed at how communities rejoiced and just were happy at just having access to drinking water. And so the goal of building 24 boreholes ended up with us currently standing at 80 boreholes that we've built all throughout Ghana in different communities, spending over $300,000 to make sure that over 200,000 people have had access to water through this project with Omega Psi Phi fraternity. So we're really proud of that project. The men of Omega Psi Phi even stepped forward more and decided to build a school. So just a few months ago, we built a school in Kuntanase. The school was also the school wasn't even fit for goats to be kept at, and this is where the kids were. The KG children were actually studying and things like that, and so we were able to go in there, tear the whole thing down, build a brand new school from funds donated from Omega Psi Phi fraternity, LGG chapter in Washington D.C., Fort Meade, Maryland, and they did a great job. And so these are some of the partners that I have. You know, we have fraternities and sororities that are entrenched in the American system. And since we started a chapter here in Ghana of Omega Psi Phi, the other fraternities and sororities have all now become have all started chapters here in Ghana, from the Alphas, Sigmas, AKs. If you know anything about sororities, Kamala Harris, the Vice President of the United States, she is a member of AKA, and they have a chapter here in Ghana now. And so these are great, long traditional organizations that are in Ghana, and many of them have partnered with my nonprofit Team CSR Ghana to build other boreholes, to build schools, to do so many great things. And so we're just so happy and blessed that our contacts in the States are now coming home. They're looking at not only coming to visit Ghana, but what can they do to impact the lives of Ghanaians after their visit. And so we're just very blessed and glad to be able to be a conduit for people to be able to give back to the people of Ghana through my nonprofit Team CSR Ghana. Starting a business in Ghana, my advice to any diasporan is to come to Ghana first. Make sure that what the business that you want to start there is a need for that business. And then there's also a lot of different loops and processes that you have to go through to start a business that is so much different from the States. A person can get very frustrated and give up. And so you need to come down. Ghana, like a lot of countries, is who you know, what connections you have that can help your business, grow. Since I've came here in Ghana in 2010, I've just been totally amazed at all of the different organizations and African Americans that have come to Ghana, especially during the Year of Return, when Ghana started a Year of Return initiative in 2019. And so there's a lot of support here that I didn't have when I came in 2010. There's a lot of African Americans that are building their homes here, that have businesses here. And so there's a lot of a wealth of knowledge and experience on how to start a business in Ghana. And so, the advice that I would give anybody that wants to come and do business in Ghana is to come to Ghana. See if this is where you want to live. Look at how the processes are for your business. Make sure that there is a niche for what you want to do. And I say, go with it. Ghana is growing in leaps and bounds, and there's just so much opportunity here. And so I would recommend to anybody to come to Ghana and live and start a business here. Well, some of the problems that I face having a nonprofit here in Ghana is, as I said before, Ghana does not have any tax write-off or incentives for people to give. In the developed countries or in the United States where I'm from, there's tax write-offs. If you give money, you can write it off as a tax for tax breaks, but there's nothing like that in Ghana. So it's very, very difficult to raise funds in Ghana. In the States, people give money freely, because of these tax benefits, and also because people like to give. In Ghana, there's not really a culture for giving to nonprofits and NGOs and things like that. And some people have the misconception that people don't want to give in Ghana, but that is not the issue. The issue is that Ghana has a very, very tight family network and structure. So a person could be paying the school fees for his niece. A person could be getting calls from his auntie or uncle in the village that's trying to see how he's going to feed himself for the day. So one person has an extended family of about 50 people that are calling him every day, needing some money or needing some help in some way. And so Ghanaians give to their family members, their extended family, which is really not the same thing in the States. People are more closer to their immediate family, but here your whole extended family is your family. And so a lot of people give that way. And so because of that, people don't really give to nonprofits and NGOs as much. And so it was just very difficult for us to raise funds. A lot of the funds that we raise now are from the stateside, from our partners in the States who are given to Ghana. We have a few companies that we work with here. We've been blessed to have worked with some of the major telecoms here in Ghana, some of the Coca-Cola and other big companies here in Ghana as well. And so, again, you have to figure out, your niche and how you're going to be successful in Ghana. Coming here, you still have to keep ties stateside and see as you're beginning what assistance that you can get from stateside that will also help your business to grow as you get settled in. And so these are some of the advices that I can give, and these are some of the challenges that we faced as a nonprofit here in Ghana. The targets that we're setting for our nonprofit is to just have a lot of bigger corporate partners. Just in the past 2 years, we've been able to provide water for over 200,000 Ghanaians in over 80 communities. And so that is huge for us. And so at the place where I am in life now, I don't really want a lot or need a lot. Getting to 60 years old, you look at retiring and you're looking more at the legacy that you can leave and how you can impact lives, at a greater rate. And so for me, I would like to see Team CSR just grow to the point where we can help so many communities that are in need, do more water projects, do more school projects. Water is so necessity for life. It's something that people in the States and the developed countries just take for granted. And some people, if they can just get a cup of water to drink, a cup of water to bath, their whole day has been made better. And so, my heart really goes out to that. And so a lot of our focus is on boreholes and water, and also schools. Schools, children are our future, and for them to have a safe learning environment, I think, is critical for their development and for the growth of Ghana. And so we're into making sure that schools are built. Our goal is to have a lot more school projects, build a lot more schools in the next 2 years here in Ghana, and just keep doing the things that we're doing. We're only making a small dent in Ghana, but every life that we touch is a worthwhile life. It's a much needed impact. And so we're just glad to be able to help as many people as we can here in Ghana. Well, it's great that you said that. A lot of people are not familiar with the Divine Line. People in the States are, the fraternities and sororities. You look at Omega Psi Phi, the fraternity that I'm in, and the great leaders that we have, from Michael Jordan, Shaquille O'Neal, Jesse Jackson. Some of these people are billionaires. And so, the D9 can do a lot by directing the focus of the D9 here to Ghana. The thing about D9 is that the D9 have a mandate of community service. Their aim is helping communities. And as many of them are bringing chapters here to Ghana, focusing in Africa, we need to bring that same mandate, bring that same enthusiasm that we have for community service in the States to Ghana. and make an impact in Ghana. And I'm very proud that we were the first, D9 to start a chapter here in Ghana. And, I was a part of that. And I'm just so happy to have been able to do that. And right now we have about 7 D9 members that have chapters in Ghana. And we're all very connected. The energy together to do things here in Ghana is so huge. It's so huge. I'm just so impressed at what the D9 is doing in Ghana. The partnerships, the learning, the helping children, is very, very big. And so that message needs to continue. The chapters, the national headquarters, they need to have a more concentrated effort on making an impact in Ghana and in Africa, period. And so I just ask all the D9 to reach out to their networks, look at what the chapters in Ghana are doing, and help to be a part of that, help to be a part of that growth. The D9 was instrumental in the growth of African Americans throughout the U.S. history, through civil rights. Martin Luther King is a member of the D9, and all of the great leaders in U.S. history. And so we want to have that same movement in Ghana. Kwame Nkrumah is a Sigma. He's a member of a D9, our first president of Ghana. And so that messages need to go out there, so people can come to Ghana and also make an impact and help the growth of Ghana. Just overjoyed that I made the decision to come to Ghana, to relocate to Ghana. It's been a blessing. The work, my NGO work that I've been doing has been very difficult initially, but we've been doing the right things, and we're making an impact in communities and making an impact in lives. And so our NGO has just been growing by leaps and bounds. We're not doing donations, we're doing impactful life generation work. And so I am glad that I came to Ghana. I'm glad that we're getting the support. There's nothing that would make me want to go back to live in the U.S. I love the U.S. It gave me so many opportunities, giving people opportunities worldwide. It's a great nation, but I love my people here in Ghana. And we're doing also great things, and we need help. We need help, and I want to be a part of that help. I want to be a part of the changing process to make Ghana a great nation as well. These are my people. These are our people. This is where we came from, and so we need to give back. I think it's very, very important that we do that. I hope that you can expect more work from us. I will never give up. This is my life passion, is to help other people. Reaching the age of 60 is not something that everybody gets an opportunity to do. And so I'm just very blessed to be at this age, to be able to still be helping people all over Ghana. And so there's not much more that I want to do than what I'm doing right now. A lot of NGOs, they have millions of dollars. I don't need millions of dollars. I just need enough to be able to help my people and to make a lasting impact on individuals. I've done most of everything I've done in life has been in the States, and I've been successful at different ends. And so at the point of life I'm at right now, I just want to give back to my people. I just want to see other people grow and do better. I want to see the little kids that are in communities that have buckets on their head going to the river to get water just to bathe in. I want to see that change, and I just want to see my people not suffer. That is why I'm here. That is the work that I'm doing. I've been blessed to be able to do it on a greater level, and I just thank God for that opportunity. My name is Jonathan Akwemwa, and you are watching Face2Face Africa, the premier global Black voice.